Boris joins, uh, we'll get
It's
him
live.
on.
We're
We're
live
live.
right now.
We're live. Hey, everybody! You're watching and listening to the We Are Rising podcast. This is your host Andrew. This is your host Andrew Benjamin. I am joined by my co-host Jay Christian Gary from Focus Fights. Oh wait, no, I'm not. I'm joined by JayWolf, the one and only.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me on here. Appreciate it. You know, I love talking to you guys about this stuff, the Epic Rizin. We just had a fantastic event, a summer blockbuster collaboration mega event that actually I couldn't believe how they pulled Sakaki Barasan and Scotty Cokes pulled a rabbit out of the hat. This event was so snake bit with injuries, and my theory, I think it was sabotaged by Dingleberry Dana White's curse, bad luck curse, and they just pulled a rabbit out of the hat and made a fantastic show despite all that opposition and just, man, it was so freaking fun. So I'm happy that, thank you for having me on, Drew, to talk to everybody about this. I mean, there's so much other stuff that happened too this week. The ABC commission conference, where the Epic Rizin rule set was discussed for the first time in history. That was sensational. And then also some PFL news that we got to talk about, because there was a fantastic interview done by Jason Burgos and of Sportsnaut with Ray Sefo, where he talked about the future of PFL, the potential buyout and stuff, and what's going to happen with PFL. And actually, there was something that was brought up that we're going to get into discussion about how they're going back to the one night GP playoffs, which is fantastic news for me, and actually takes some of the sting away from the potential buyout of the Bellator fighters. So, I mean, we'll talk about all that stuff. It's going to be a loaded show, and I'm sure, Drew's just going to, for all the people that love to criticize Bellator, Drew's just going to go in on Bellator and bash them for their show. So we're going to have that too as well. And of course, I'll be here to defend them and talk about the Epic Rizin. But also the Epic Rizin news: 3 new shows coming up: September 24th. October 1st, Cage event, Landmark Series, and then November 4th, their first international event. The Epic Rizin Azerbaijan is going to happen. It's going to be loaded with international fighters as well, rumored to be in a cage as well. So much news going on. So, I mean, let's just get right into it. Again, thanks for having me on, Drew. This is fantastic. One of the best We Are Rising podcasts. I got the soundbite Jay Krish sent me for the Lenny legend, Lenny Hart, the GOAT, the send off. So it's gonna be a fantastic show here. Oh, also, Drew, before I forget, Drew had a fantastic article that he wrote for MMA Sucker. Everybody go check it out and look on Drew's timeline. It was even retweeted by the GOAT of Twitter, Kaposa, Grabaka Hitman. Thank you, Grabaka Hitman, for retweeting Drew. We love you. Thank you for everything you do for the sport. Everybody also go follow Kaposa, Grabaka Hitman, subscribe to his Patreon, all that good stuff. And check out Drew's article about the fighter that sadly passed away from a weight cutting, and it got retweeted by Kaposa. So, I mean, just fantastic work, Drew. It was a great article, by the way, as well. So,
there wasn't a lot of information. I had to go to one of my friends to help me translate some of the stuff, because Google Translate and Facebook Translate are not at all accurate when it comes to stuff like that. It's very terrible, like how the automatic translation works. And I tried to it's suspected that Ryu-chan from Shuto possibly died of weight cut issues. He did miss weight in his previous fight, which got canceled, and then he had this fight coming up, no showed to the press conference. They did a wellness check, and then I guess one of his friends found him dead. Not sure where, not sure the circumstances, and then it sucks.
Yeah, it's total bummer.
I don't know what else to say. I can't. It sucks.
His name was Chen, right?
Ryu-chan.
Ryu-chan. RIP to Ryu-chan. I mean, it's very tragic. Kid was real young, and it just shows that this is a dangerous sport. Even before you step in the ring, I mean, this since he passed away potentially from weight cutting, which we don't know for sure yet, but this is in the first one. As you saw from your article, everybody read your article. You also brought up the in one championship, a fighter died from weight cutting, for sure from weight cutting in one championship. That's what led them to institute the hydration tests for their weight.
Well, I can't curse yet because it's too early, but the BS hydration tests. Sorry,
Yes.
but they are.
Yeah. Well, still, that was instituted because they were trying to, prevent that from happening again to that tragic fighter that passed away in one championship from weight cutting. That's why they did the hydration test. So
Yet somehow people still miss weight in one.
yeah, it's just, I mean, but what else can you do except, like maybe there's something where we'll have to put in, a rule that the fighter, there's only a certain amount of percentage of weight that a fighter is allowed to cut. Otherwise, they have to be forced up to another weight class to prevent this stuff from happening. Because I mean, these are the only deaths that have happened in mixed martial arts is from weight cutting. It's nothing in ring. It's not like boxing or even kickboxing where guys have died afterwards.
Well, who was the remember there was the was it a Korean boxer? Remember this was like remember there was some guy, remember they they decreased the rounds because there was a boxer, 86 boxing. If you're still here, you might know. But wasn't there a Korean boxer or wasn't there some boxer who died? He got knocked out and he never woke up. I know this was a long time ago. And they instituted a bunch of things, rules. Like they like, do you know what I'm talking about, JayWolf? Does this sound familiar?
This was in boxing, right?
It was in boxing, and it is. I think it used to be 15 rounds or something. Like it was, and then they decreased to 12 because something like that. I don't even remember what it is.
Well, I don't think it's the rounds. I think what it is that how in boxing they allow you to get knocked down. You get hit with a massive hit that should in mixed martial arts you get hit that bad and you get knocked down. You don't get a 10 count. That's where the danger comes from in boxing is that they give you a 10 count and chance to recover and to take more damage after that. That's why in mixed martial arts you get rocked.
Sorry, JayWolf. 86 boxing. Ray Mancini versus Duck Koo Kim. That was
yes. Thank you. 86 boxing, fantastic. Right away. Wow. Is that the same Josh 86 boxing that does Teep's show as well sometimes?
I believe it is. I believe it is Mr. Josh 86 boxing who he does a lot of the cool things where they do whenever Teep does his the
graphics
the historical things.
Yes.
And
the boxing stuff as well and Bellator previews and reviews with me and 86 boxing. Josh 86 boxing did fantastic graphics of my father, whose flag is right behind me right there, of the pictures of my father from World War II and stuff, and did fantastic graphics of my dad's photo superimposed on the back of an American flag. It was so fantastic. So I just want to give another shout out and thanks to 86 boxing. Josh 86 boxing just does fantastic work, and thank him for the graphics of my father once again. And all the work he does with Teep and on boxing and combat sports and everything. Just a fantastic fan.
Wait, so does he do the graphics for Teep or does Teep do them himself?
No, Teep does that himself, but Josh 86 boxing, I remember specifically helped him. It did the graphics for my father, where because remember there was a picture of my dad and my cousin, where my dad was in the Navy, my cousin was Army, and my cousin was the one that went to it was in the Battle of the Bulge, and actually he almost lost his legs because he was sheltering from incoming fire from actual Nazis in the Battle of the Bulge. I mean, just doesn't get any more badass than that, and anyways, this picture, Josh from 86 boxing took that, put it like a superimposed it on American flag with my dad's other enlistment picture right there next to it. It was so fantastic, man. Just look for it on Teep's show. Teep posts it all the time for me. It's so I can't thank them enough. It just so thrilling and exhilarating to see my dad's picture like that. And I just really appreciate Josh from 86 Boxing for those graphics and everything, man.
I gotta get, I do my own graphics for the interviews and all that stuff. I think I gotta get T for Josh to do that
Yes,
because
absolutely.
I hate doing graphics because I suck at it. I suck at it.
Well, they
I
do
can't
fantastic
do
work.
the catchy. You know how they do like, you know, I can't do the catchy things. You know, I can't, you know, that's why I'm not a popular YouTuber who can cause a riot in New York City because I don't know how to do the attractive
No,
thumbnails that catch people. So
oh,
I need a
all you gotta
new.
do is say no, no. All you gotta do is say you're giving away PS5s, and that's what caused the riot.
I should put that in the I should put that in the title. You know, giving away PS5s.
Yeah, the We Are Rising podcast. Listen, and you get a PS5. Listen for a chance at a PS5. There you go. There's your caption.
But Mr. JayWolf, I know before we get into Bellator X Rizin,
Delta times rising. Times
yeah,
rising. Come on, get it right.
what is it? The other thing was that the Rizin got to go in front of the ABC or just
Yes, it is. Here, let me bring that
and
up for you real
yeah,
quick.
you pay attention. I tried paying attention, but like it was like it seemed so boring. I couldn't like. Is there anything that you could take away or tell us that like was important or whatever?
Yes, yes, absolutely. At the ABC conference of 2023, the I'm guessing it's called the American Boxing Commission Conference or Association of Boxing Commissions Conference. I'm just guessing what ABC stands for, but there was several prominent. We got Dan Tom from Mixed Martial from MMA Junkie was covering. He was there covering it. Also, Eric McGracken was there covering it as well. He's a lawyer that does a fantastic. He pays attention to whenever he was the one that reported first about Colorado legalizing grounded knees, right, for one's rule set, and
So
also
just go ahead and clarify. Are grounded knees would be allowed, but are soccer kicks allowed?
no, not yet, not yet.
Okay.
As of right now, in the stuff that's been added as of right now is the grounded knees, obviously. Also, though, in Colorado, from Invicta last November, they had a one-night women's tournament, a 4-woman one-night tournament, where it was 2 full fights in one night. So that's 2 15-minute fights in one night. That was the first time that was allowed in history, and that was in this new era, obviously, and that was in Colorado as well. Oh, my phone is dying. Shit. Can you still hear me, Drew?
Oh yeah,
Oh
well,
no.
you're still here. You're still here. So
Uh-oh.
I know about the tournaments in Invicta, but they also are under they have like specific rules, I believe, for those 15 minutes fights. They're also considered exhibitions, if I'm right. The finals are considered pro, right?
Here. Sorry, I had a little technical difficulties. Am I back? Can you hear me
Yeah.
still?
You're back. You're good. You're good. So it was just
Okay.
about those Invicta things.
No,
Those
they're
fight.
not. They're not exhibitions. They're actual real fights, and it was a real tournament. It was in November of last year, and it was November of last year, 2022, and it was the first time that 2 full 15-minute fights were allowed. Remember, before they had to go under the unified rules, which I like to call the pussified rules, and they had a 25-minute limit, right? Because
Yeah.
that's for the unified rules, or pussified rules, it's 25 minutes limit for the title fights, right? So they had to do weird, like the quarterfinals were only 1 round, 1 5-minute round. Then the semifinals would be 1 5-minute round, and then the finals would be 3 5-minute rounds, like a full fight. But see, this time in November, and this was in Colorado, Invicta did 2 full 15-minute fights. So that's 30 minutes total, 5 minutes over the 25 time limit. That was the first time in this new modern era. And the only other state that allows that is Oklahoma, which you remember in 2014, the one-night elimination tournament that Rowan Jucal Carnero won. 3 full 15-minute fights, 3 of them. And then after he won that, he got signed right away to the UFC, went straight into the UFC and won either a top 15 or top 10 bout against Mark Munoz. I think it was top 10. But for sure it was top 15, no matter what. And that proves that the one-night tournament format, the 8-man one-night tournament format, produced a top 10 or top 15 UFC fighter right away. And just, man, that was so fun. And then, but now that was in Oklahoma. This one I'm talking about in Invicta with the 2 full 15-minute fights, that was in Colorado as well. That is where this guy, Tony Cummins, he was also at the ABC conference, and he was talking about the Rizin rule set that was being presented, and he was talking about how the other commissions were hating on him for allowing the one championship rule set with grounded knees, that they were hating on it. But he was saying about how, it was great progression and stuff. I'm trying to bring up the different slides from him that I got here. But anyways, okay, just to get back to this, was the Rizin people were there, and they had slides. They were presenting their rules at this ABC conference, and they were showing, had data about the superior rule set. And of course, let's remind the audience about what the superior rule set is of the Epic Rizin. It's full pride rules, which everybody knows is soccer kicks and stomps. Then it's got the grounded knees as well, grounded up kicks. All anything on the ground is legal. Grounded up kicks, knees, soccer kicks, stomps. It's all legal. Also, what makes it part of the superior rule set? They allow 12 to 6 elbows. How badass is that? 12 to 6 elbows is legal. And of course, what's not legal in one, but is legal in Rizin, is the suplex slam. They allow all suplex slams, everything except, a spike or tombstones, whatever you want to call them. But that's what the superior rule set is. Soccer kicks, stomps, grounded knees, grounded up kicks, 12 to 6 elbows, suplex slams, all the awesome strikes that we love the most. That's why I call it the superior rule set. That's why even dude, that's canon now. The official Rizin Twitter even called it the superior rule set. Kaposa, one of the GOAT commentators of Twitter, also has called it the superior rule set.
Sorry, you interrupted JayWolf, but let's just get to the meeting. What they say about the.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, at the ABC conference, they had slides about the superior rule set up there. First time in history that this had happened, as far as I'm aware of. And they were saying about how, I wish I could show you these slides, man. They're fantastic. They had a bunch of the stats on there.
What's the guy's Twitter? What's the guy's Twitter?
Okay, there's 2 of them. Dan Tom from MMA Junkie. Dan Tom was one of them. Also,
if you have his Twitter, tell me his Twitter.
Dan Tom MMA, but it's already buried. It was 3 days ago for him. Also, Tony Cummings, and his Twitter is Tony TC Cummings, Cummings. That is the Colorado Boxing Commission, Athletic Commission guy. And then also the lawyer guy that I was telling you guys about, that has been up on this superior rule set stuff for years, broke the news about Colorado allowing grounded knees. His name is Eric McGracken on Twitter. He also has some of this stuff. So, and then
by the way, go ahead. I'm going to get the slides up so you could basically explain.
Okay, yeah. Here, go to Tony Cummings.
Oh no, I'm already up. You can explain. I'm gonna get it up as you're explaining.
Cool. Okay, yeah. Okay, they had slides up there explaining the Epic Rizin, the superior rule set, and it was just fantastic to see them talk about this and discuss it. One of the favorite. Let me see here. I'm trying to read through the slides. Oh, look, there they are, right there. Fantastic. Yes, there's one of the slides right there. Look at that. This is the stuff that's being discussed at the athletic commission. They're sitting there explaining this. Look at this one right here. Look at that. Fantastic. Look, and it just look. Look. See how this is? It says doesn't affect the fight in a negative way. The fighters are alert, and you get less stalling and timidity.
Sorry about that.
Oh, that's all right. And then look, and then soccer kicks may be good indication. Like he's talking about how soccer kicks are a fight stopping strike. And look at the top of that. Look at the top bullet point right there. Allowing kicks and knees to the head of a ground opponent sounds violent. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's what we've been telling you guys for the longest time, is that it just looks brutal and sounds violent. It's not. There is no different. You cannot sit there and tell me that a stomp or a soccer kick is more damaging than, say, a running, jumping knee, like a la Ben Askren.
I'll say this.
Corey Masvidal and Ben Askren.
I'm looking at one of the slides, and the one I like the most is results in a more fluid fight with less stalling. And
yes,
I guess anybody who tuned into I didn't tune into him, but just from the what I was reading from comments, Corey Sandhagen and Rob Font could have used some could have used that.
About the UFC snoozer main event that just happened, where even Dingleberry Dana White himself walked out.
But you know, in fairness, just because you allow grounded strikes, you know, you could have Archuleta and Hiro Masa, and you know, even if it's allowed that
was Archuleta taking it easy on Hiro Masa for stepping up late. Remember that was not that's not a good example.
No, that's a great example. Anyway, JayWolf, I want to ask. So, was anything approved? Was this just a presentation? I don't like. What happened in the end?
Yeah, no, it was a presentation. It was laying the groundwork to getting it approved in the future. Look, the Epic Rising is shooting for an American show, and they're trying to build upon the groundwork that was done by one championship in Colorado. This Tony Cummings commissioner, by allowing grounded knees and also multiple fights in one night. So they're going to build on that, and hopefully they're going to get the superior rule set, the full superior rule set allowed in the future. And we're going to have events in Hawaii, you know, California, especially Colorado. I mean, the future is bright. Okay. And this was laying the groundwork for that. And the grounded knees being legalized in Colorado is like the first domino being pushed. And it's just, and this conference is just another domino in that you know, thing of dominoes falling, to where eventually we're going to get soccer kicks. The full superior rule set is eventually going to happen in America. I mean, it might take decades. It might take less than, it might take less than a decade. Who knows how long it'll take, but eventually it's going to happen. And this is one of the pushes for it right here. I think it was even a Shingo-san, Sakakibara-san's right-hand man. Shingo was there giving this presentation. I think King Silo in the Epic Rising Discord chat posted a picture of Shingo up there giving this presentation. So it's just him. It was just them, you know, explaining the rules, showing those different stats like you had up there on the bullet points. They even lessened the stats. Like they're saying that there was only like 1 or 2 fights that ended from grounded knees, and we're sitting there going, dude, in the chat we're thinking, hey, wait a minute. So they're only counting the ones that actually ended from the final strike was a knee strike, because there's been several other ones. And one of my favorite examples was Yutaka Saito. The finish that propelled him into a title fight was a sensational superior rule set finish, TKO finish, where there was grounded knees involved in it, devastating grounded knees. So, I mean, I still am not too clear on how they got those stats, but it seemed like they were like undercutting the exact number. But it doesn't matter. It was still cool to even see them put those stats up there and talk about it, and talk about how it's not as, you know, it's the stigma against them is that they're more dangerous or what. And no, it's not that. It's just they look brutal and they sound, you know, but it's not any more dangerous than a flying knee or something like that. You know what I mean? So it was fantastic to see, Drew. Just absolutely fantastic. I mean, I'm so excited for the future. I can't even begin to tell you. I mean, I know it's not going to happen, but it feels like we might even get the superior rule set maybe even next year. Maybe the Epic Rising Hawaii happens next year with the full superior rule set. I mean, that's how excited I am about this. I know it's probably not going to happen. I know probably realistically we're looking more like 5 to 10 years for the superior. I mean, because we're going to need that's why the Eric McGracken account, he has some fantastic articles, specifically one about the 12 to 6 elbow, where there was studies done showing that the 12 to 6 elbow strike is no more dangerous, has no more a powerful effect than any other elbow strike that you can think of. So I mean, stuff like that, it just takes time for that kind of stuff and those kind of studies to be shown to the athletic commissions. And that's why this conference was so important, why it was so important for the Epic Rising to be there and showing these commissioners all this data and stuff from the superior rule set. It was just fantastic, Drew. Just fantastic. I mean, nothing came of it yet, but it is definitely laying the groundwork for the future. And I'm sure they'll be back there next year asking for it. So I mean, and who knows? I mean, just reading the Colorado Commission's tweets. I mean, he seems like, I'm telling you, there are several commissions that very open-minded, bro, and they might allow this stuff in the very near future. I mean, it's so freaking exciting, Drew. I can't even tell you. Well, I mean, I can. I'm doing it right now, but I mean, I'm just so excited. And also, I want to tell you more. Just not even just on the ABC conference, but the interview with Ray Sefo and about the PFL changes coming to the PFL. I mean, just so much awesome stuff here. I'm trying to read another.
JayWolf, just hold on a second.
The ABC
we
conference.
got JayWolf. Hold on 1 second. We do have a special guest here.
Oh, nice.
I think Jay Chris. Maybe.
Hello.
Oh,
there he is. Hey, turn some lights on. We can't even see you.
Well, I mean, come to think of it, is Sar Boris even in the chat?
No, he never came. So that's why we got you.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened. He's a MIA.
He'll show up for the focus fights tonight.
Yeah, hopefully so. I mean, the dude I mean, it wouldn't be cool to just no show on an event, you know, especially when y'all were doing so well with him during the preview for this show, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, well, yeah, we're all adults, and there might be stuff that come up, you know, so can't hold it against them too much. But I'll be there for sure, Jay Krish. I'm ready to. I mean, you can see me. I'm already on, dude. I'm on a good one talking about this stuff right now, having a great time. I'm ready to go for focus fights. I'm ready to go for this show as well. I mean, just. But I think he'll show up for the focus fights one. That's tonight, right? At 7 p.m. Eastern, correct?
Yeah, 7 Eastern, 6 Central, 4 Pacific. I'll also be sure to post the URL for this in the comments of the live stream that's going on right now, right?
Yes. Here, Drew, just one. I found it real quick with the Tony Cummings tweet. I want to read real quick. This is what's part of what's giving me so much promise for the future. This is the Colorado Athletic Commission guy saying this stuff. Listen to this. He says, I agree with the Hawaii reference, because a tweet previously was talking about Rizin doing a Hawaii show. It says, all I ask is that we be more open-minded and look at the data, much like what was presented by Rizin today. Let's not shut the door to at least having a meaningful conversation based on the facts and data. Dude,
okay, but JayWolf, I'm going to just say this. I'm going to play devil's advocate with this one question before we move on, because we got to move on. If it is legalized, does that take away? So even if it is legalized, or I shouldn't say legalized, if it's approved by the ABC, will states still adopt it independently? Just because they can doesn't mean they won't. They will. And the other thing also as well, will UFC themselves allow it?
Look, all that eventually, yes. It's going to take a long time. It's going to be one state at a time. Just you know what is a good example to liken it to? Look at how they legalized pot across the country. You know, the weed was legalized in a couple of states at first, right? And now it just keeps rolling across the entire country, legalizing it. That's going to be how it's going to go for the Epic Rizin Superior Rule Set. It's going to start with states like Colorado and Oklahoma. And then as the more events that get put on there on the Superior Rule Sets, the people are going to go, all the other commissions, other states are going to go, hey, this is actually really cool. You know, we're going to allow this and it's going to go one at a time. And eventually, even the UFC is going to be like, hey, this could really enhance our product. This could really, I mean, they're going to get sick. You know how many times there's been a UFC fight stopped because of a quote unquote illegal grounded knee or whatever? I mean, I'm sure you can count them. You can probably list them up, 10 of them right now. You know, one of the most famous ones was Peter Yan and Aljamain Sterling. Remember that? On a grounded knee. And that's how Sterling got the title, right? quote unquote illegal ground knee. Eventually, the UFC is going to get sick of that happening. Going to get sick of it's quote unquote illegal strikes ruining their fights, right? And they're going to, I guarantee you, Drew. Eventually, they're going to be like, hey, it's legal now. Look at these other promotions doing it. It's awesome, and it could seriously enhance our product. We can have no more of these stupid illegal fouled no contests or whatever. And they're going to implement it, bro. It's going to start with either grounded knees or 12-6 elbows. You know, because there's they don't like that Juicer John Jones as the only loss of his career is from a 12-6 elbow strike. So that's why they're going to want to legalize that so they can retroactively take that off of John's record and have him be an undefeated fighter or whatever. So just it's going to be it's not going to happen all at once. It's not going to be like, oh, all of a sudden they're going to be, oh yes, soccer kick stomps, the whole full spear rule set's fully allowed. No, it's not going to happen like that. It's going to be one at a time. And I'm predicting it's going to be either grounded knees or 12-6 elbows that started off. So, but it's going to happen eventually. Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Anyway, JayWolf, BellatorxRizin. The show sucked. I have really nothing to say about it. What the fuck do you want to say about it?
Oh, it was actually really good. Tiger Magomedov and Donnie Sabatello put on a fantastic fight. Grapplers delight. For Tiger,
excuse me,
Tiger
sorry.
Magomedov, he really showed. Because Sabatello, you already know Sabatello is fantastic wrestling. Tiger Magomedov was able to, just counter down in Sabatello's excellent wrestling and then choke him out and show that he also is a fantastic submission guy and he has fantastic grappling as well. So Tiger Magomedov, fantastic performance by him. And then that was one of the main bright spots of that card. But it was,
you're being generous with the term bright spots on that show.
Well, hey, dude, you can look. That was so snake, and then Dingleberry Dana White curse was in full effect. Because you know my theory about Dingleberry Dana White. He sold his soul to have the UFC #1 while he was there. And anytime another promotion gets even close to being #2, so some bad luck freak stuff happens to him. That's why it always happens to Bellator, because they've been putting on getting really close to being at Strikeforce level where there's a legit rival to UFC. Now look at the UFC media is even talking about all the the Bellator champions being able to compete with their UFC counterparts now. They're fully openly acknowledging that. So I mean that's why we're getting all these weird stuff happening to Bellator now, because Bellator was rising to be the #2. So that's why, and this card was no different. This card on paper, before all the snake bit injuries and stuff, this card was it was a Pride Bushido level event. That's how huge it was. It was literally, I mean, imagine all the fights imagine how badass this card would have been if all the fights would have stayed together. And I'm talking all the way from Tofik and Luis Killer Gustavo that was supposed to happen. That was the first one that got injury, snake bit. Then Juan Archuleta and Kai Asakura was supposed to happen. And then AJ McKee versus Pitbull was supposed to be on there. And then, of course, the Horiguchi, Gucci 2 belts versus Makoto Shinryu was supposed to be awesome as well. And that happened a freak 10 seconds into the fight. Eye poke ended that one. How unfortunate was that, man? Just, I mean, all kinds of bad luck. And they still, Scotty Cokes and Sakaki Barasan still pulled a rabbit out of the hat and still made this an absolutely fantastic show by adding Chihiro Suzuki and pound for pound Patricio Pitbull on it. What an absolute amazing collaboration super fight that we got on there. But that was for the Rizin portion. So, but still, I mean, that was like, that just saved the event to me. And it provided one of the biggest event of the week, the biggest moment of the weekend, in my opinion. But
so,
okay,
hold on, JayWolf. Hold on one second. Jay Chris, I don't want to usurp what you'll be talking about later today, but if I can, would you agree that BellatorxRizin, absolutely sucked?
I wouldn't say it absolutely sucked. I would just basically say it was absolutely disappointing, especially considering the champion, the first of the 2 5-rounders, the flyweight title fight between Kyoji Horiguchi and Makoto Shinryu Takahashi. Yes, I'm calling him by his full name. But yeah, the fact that the flyweight title fight ended in a no contest, it was just sad. It was embarrassing. I mean, basically made people think that it's making people think that the fight and the flyweight division as a whole is cursed, because when it came down to the first time that this title was supposed to be what am I trying to say? When it came down to the Rob Font versus Ray Borg Kyoji Horiguchi fight, we all know what happened. Ray Borg missed weight, got fired, and then retired. Then, when it came down to this, we were all excited. We were all hoping. We were all just basically waiting with. No, nobody's in the bathroom. Sorry about that. But still, though. I'm sorry, folks. I am sorry, folks, about that background noise. But still, though. When it comes,
It's okay. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
Hey, take care. If you gotta take care of some stuff, then come back and I'll get
No.
you.
No. I'm just gonna go ahead and say this.
Okay.
I mean, we were all hoping that this particular fight was just gonna be something interesting. Of course, I'm talking about Shinryu versus Kyoji. And unfortunately, it did not go down like that. You know, the no contest, the eye poke was very unfortunate. It just sucked that it had to happen. And by the way, I apologize in advance again. I mean, it's not easy having to live by yourself when you're trying to take care of your near 100-year-old great grandparent, but still, neither here nor there.
That's good. Hey, enjoy that. Enjoy that time with them while you got it, Jake Krish.
Understood.
But, hey, you know, and don't even fret, because they're gonna rebook Gucci and Shinryu for later this year. They're gonna rebook it, so we're gonna get to see it eventually. So
now, come to think of it, you say that they're saying that they're gonna rebook Shinryu versus Kyoji. Where the hell would that fight take place at? Because it wouldn't happen at Bellator 300 in San Jose, October 8th, right?
That's San Diego, I thought. Is it San Jose or San Diego? Hopefully it's San Diego.
I mean, is it in San Diego? Did they say it was going to happen down at whatever they call it?
I thought I read it with San Diego. So hopefully it is San Diego so I can go. And I'm guessing it's going to be part of that one. Why would it not be on that one? Why would it not be on 300?
I mean, come to think of it, I understand it's 300 show for Bellator. Well, 300 and something if you count all the kickboxing shows that they've done and the series events that they've done in Europe and at NASCAR shows. But still, though, I mean, it's going to probably be overshadowed by something bigger, way bigger.
Oh yeah, I'm guessing they're going to have Cyborg and Kat Zingano, the Amanda Nunes killer, Kat Zingano on there. You know, she famously TKO'd, I'm talking beat down Amanda Nunes in the UFC.
Yeah, but that was before Nunes became a superstar and an icon.
That doesn't matter. When it counts in the reverse, whenever a UFC are trying to dump on a Bellator or a Rizin fighter or outside UFC fighter, so it counts this time when we're doing it against a UFC fighter.
Jay, wouldn't this be a better thing to do with the flyweight thing? So obviously, it looks like Rizin's gonna be doing a flyweight thing. They're focusing more on flyweights. I think.
That's what I want to bring up. But why don't? I'm hoping Rizin's going to do a flyweight Grand Prix before the
No.
end
I didn't mean that. No.
Oh.
Listen, let's assume that Bellator is either going out of business or being bought. Let's assume whether this thing in San Diego, Bellator 300, they had the fight there. Here's the thing. I say Bellator should just give the Rizin flyweight title to Rizin. They rebranded as the Rizin flyweight title. And I would ideally rather see Kyoji and Shinryu have the fight in Rizin for the first time. I don't know why that hasn't been brought up. I'll be honest. I really have no interest in let's assume if Bellator is not going to be around, or is going to be dissolved, or is going to be cut, or something, whatever. What is the likelihood that they're even going to focus on the flyweight division? I think it's highly unlikely.
Well,
So
okay.
let Rizin take the burden of, I shouldn't say the burden, both them shoulder that, because there's clearly a lot more talent in Japan. They clearly have, they are focusing on it. So have the championship be a Rizin one. You know, quote Earl Spence, nobody gives a fuck about Bellator.
I mean, come to think of it,
that got him knocked out.
I mean, come to think of it, do you think that plenty of people gave a damn about the Spence Crawford fight after Spence got KO'd?
More than the Bellator show. Sorry, JayWolf, but
no,
yeah.
I was watching online. Everybody, it ended perfectly. The Spence Crawford thing ended perfectly right in the middle of it was such terrible timing for us and the Bellator people, because for us fans, dude, it ended right as the Gucci Shinryu bout was about to start, right? So everybody was flipping, and I was reading all the comments on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. I was reading all the comments. They were saying, okay, this is a fantastic boxing match. You know, Crawford knocked out Spence, fantastic, awesome. Oh, we're all right. Now we're gonna, in perfect timing. Now we're switching it over to the Gucci Shinryu flyweight title bout. And then what happened? The 10-second eye poke. How terrible of timing was that? I mean, but no, people were
JayWolf.
They were switching over.
JayWolf, what do you think about that? That Rizin should be it should just be rebranded the Rizin flyweight title, and they just have it there.
I think it's a brilliant idea, and I think that's what should happen. But look, it depends on what's happening with this potential PFL buyout of Bellator. Okay, we're gonna find that out either this month or next month. If you remember, remember originally Todd Atkins is the one that broke that news, outscooped Ariel Helwani, and Helwani's all butthurt about it. I like to joke about it, calling Ariel Helwani's butthurt at Todd Atkins outscooping him on the PFL buyout of Bellator. Now, if that goes through, remember Todd Atkins was reporting that they're going to finish up. It's only going to go into next year, and Bellator is going to be dissolved. They're going to absorb as many fighters as possible. There's going to be some that are going to be let go. There's going to be, obviously, I'm thinking they're going to absorb, all the top fighters, especially in now in heavyweight, because they need guys for Ngannou to fight. And I would assume they're going to want to get the light heavyweight guys as well, because Vadim Nemkov is arguably the best light heavyweight in the planet right now, him and Jiri. So, I mean, they're going to get the top guys. There's going to be some left over. But if the buyout happens, then I am 100%. I think, Drew, they should do exactly like you're saying. Take that flyweight title fight between Horiguchi and Shinryu, do it in Rizin, and make it for the Rizin belt instead, the inaugural Rizin flyweight belt. And I'm thinking they should also do a flyweight Grand Prix as well, to not only fill out the division, but also build up the first contender that could happen. They could have, I mean, I'm hoping for. John Dotson's going to be in this flyweight Grand Prix, and because he has a bare knuckle boxing match coming up here, and then he goes right from one to the other. He goes from bare knuckle boxing straight into Rizin Fighting Federation, fighting mixed martial arts. So it's we were thinking that he was going to be one of the, if it wasn't Shinryu, we were thinking it was going to be John Dotson that was going to be fighting Gucci for the inaugural title. So, I mean, look, Drew, you're a plan to do it in Rizin. If the buyout happens, that is exactly what should happen. It should be moved from a Bellator title fight, to an epic Rizin title and a title fight. And hopefully Rizin should move to the 5-round, 5 minutes. But I think they should actually go to the 10 minutes and as a way to entice Jiri Prochazka back there.
I don't think Jiri's coming back. I don't think Jiri's coming back.
Jiri had his belts. He pulled his belts. And
anyway,
he had the Rizin belt.
I don't think Jiri's coming back, dude. That ship has long sailed, and Jiri is a legend for it.
We'll see. His career is not over yet.
Anyway, also JayWolf, the other thing. Well, here's the other thing about Shinryu. The extent of that eye injury. He got I think he got cornea damage. So
Was
I
that
don't know.
confirmed?
I believe he said that in the post-fight press conference, unless I misread the translation wrong. But that's a serious eye damage, and if you can't, that's serious eye damage. He said he couldn't see. Like his it was like kind of like that's at least I think what he thought. I thought he said. So it's kind of like he can only, or no, it was his right eye. So he's seen only like out of his left eye. He can't. His right eye is actually, if you go to Let's Talk JMMA, they Shu Harata, who's Shinryu's manager, talked a little bit more in depth about the eye injury. So that's the other thing, is that an eye injury could be very serious. He may, I don't know how long an eye, even if he's cleared, eye injury could be still, it could still be lingering. Michael Bisping.
Basically, what you're trying to say is, if he cannot be able to see out that eye that he got poked in, he probably might never fight again.
No, I don't think not fight again, but it will certainly. It's possible not fight again, but that's the worst case scenario. But best case scenario is that he has no damage. But middle case scenario is that he's still it's still possible that he will have that right eye will not be as good as his left eye as it was.
Well, we'll have to see exactly what exactly the extent of the damage was to the eye, if it's cornea or related or not. But look, Bellator 300 is supposed to be in October, late October. That's over 3 months away now. It's August, September, October. So that's 3 months recovery time. They're in shape. Remember, they were ready.
What I'm saying, no, Jay. What I'm saying is that even listen, 3 months away, even the eye might have gone from 100% to now it's maybe 60%. 60% vision.
Let's see
or
what
whatever.
the extent of the damage is. What is the real extent of the damage of the eye? If it prevents him from going on Bellator 300, then of course they can't.
So let's say if Shinryu can't compete, what would you do in that case? Who would you have against face Horiguchi, just in case?
I would delay it still until he can face Horiguchi. I would delay it and do your idea and put on New Year's Eve. Put on New Year's Eve and then culminate the final of the Flyweight Grand Prix that hopefully is going to happen. The final on New Year's Eve, also with the Flyweight title fight on New Year's Eve. That's what I would do.
What about you, Chris? What would you do if Shinryu can't they can't redo the match for whatever reason? Who would you have Horiguchi face off?
If John Dodson wasn't already pre-booked for a title fight in BKFC, which he is, I would say John Dodson. Especially considering the fact that he's basically been wanting to fight Kyoji Horiguchi for the longest amount of time. But then again, when is
that BKFC fight happening with John Dodson?
Let me see here, because I'm basically having to do this on the fly because my
JayWolf, I thought you probably know better. Do you know when it will be happening?
I thought it was this month, later in August. I thought
it was later this month. So if they were to do it if that Bellator show, when's that supposed to happen again? You said October?
October, late October.
Oh, if presumably if Dodson doesn't get any sort of really horrible injury, that's actually possible. That's probably possible. They could probably do it.
I agree 100%. 100% agree. If Shinryu's eye is keeping him out, definitely plug in Dodson. If you don't want to wait for New Year's, you want to do it now at Bellator 300, definitely plug in Dodson. That would still be a fantastic flyweight title bout.
Wait a minute. He basically what am I trying to say? The fight is gonna happen August 11th, which is this weekend, by the way, at the Tingley Coliseum, Rio Rancho, New Mexico.
Oh, that's enough time. That's enough time. But again, as long as no injuries happen, if he gets badly knocked out or something like that, then there's exceptions. But he's ran through everybody in BKFC, if I'm correct, right? He basically has destroyed everybody by a knuckle.
That's right, and he's on a tear in mixed martial arts too.
So yeah, Kyoji versus Dotson. Yeah, and preferably in Rizin. I really don't give a fuck about Bellator. So preferably in
You know
Rizin.
what? If I can go ahead and basically give my whole thoughts on the Bellator card real quick, outside of Kyoji Horiguchi versus Shinryu, which of course was a massive disappointment, the entire card was executed pretty well, despite the fact that there was. I mean, obviously outside of Musai. No, wait, what am I trying to say? Outside of the lightweight Grand Prix, which was basically upped up to 71 kilos, which was 157, 71 and a half kilos, 160 pounds to make up for the late notice fight. I mean, still, that fight card was just incredible. Well, incredibly average, but still incredible, especially considering. And I'm not basically saying that as a way to be an asshole. I'm just basically saying you had one decent fight, and that was Lorenz Larkin versus who? What did he? Who did he face? Who did he face?
Andre Kreshkov, former champion.
Oh yeah, the rematch between Larkin versus Korshkov, and Korshkov starched Larkin. I mean, other than that,
decision him.
Oh,
you're talking about the first fight.
Yeah,
okay.
The first fight.
Yeah, that was also a decision, though.
Damn it! But other than that, the rest of the fights were just okay. I mean, you had Kana Watanabe beat Veta Ortega in a decision that had many folks here in the States basically second guessing because they thought it was a hometown decision.
That's what she gets because she was on the wrong end of a hometown decision in Hawaii with Ilima-Lei Macfarlane. That was considered a hometown decision for Macfarlane over Watanabe. So it's only fair that she gets one now. She gets a home cooking decision as well. So I think it evened out nicely.
Yeah, of course. And Tiger Magomedov finally shut up the Italian gangster in his own mind, Daniel Sabatello, even though many people thought Sabatello got screwed over. But hey, Sabatello says he's going to come back. I don't know when, but,
How did Sabatello get screwed over? He got choked out.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I think Chris is basically summing up that like even though we were watching it, the show was so horrible that we can't remember like what exactly happens. I mean, that's
come to think of it, you could basically say it's like concert amnesia, so to speak, like what people are going through with the Taylor Swift and Beyonce tours. You had such a great time in the moment that you can't remember shit when it's time to actually ask about it.
In my case, I had such a horrible time that I can't remember anything, which is great because that Larkin
liked it. The Japanese were the Japanese were filling up that arena. I mean, it was practically
the Japanese filled up the arena when it was time for Kyoji and Shinryu, but that arena was empty.
No, it was before that. Before that, it was practically filled. I'm talking on the very first fight. It was almost halfway filled up for Koreshkov Larkin when it started. And by the time
I'll be talking to JayWolf. I'll be talking to CJ. I'm gonna ask him since he was in the arena.
Hey, it's on video. You can check the video. Just look at the video. It's by the time it gets to Watanabe Ortega, that stadium is filled, and that's only the third fight, bro. That stadium was filled. The Japanese fans, they were there, ready to go. So I mean, I feel bad for them the most because dude, but you know what? It was still cool. Like I said, they still pulled off a fantastic show, despite all the injuries and bad luck that was happening to them. They still like pulled a rabbit out of the hat, a magic trick to make that show work. It was fantastic. And Drew, I'm telling you, I know you don't like Bellator, but let's see what happens with the buyout. Okay, and remember also the buyout. Some of the sting has been taken off of that because before, I used to call it Puss FL. because they don't allow elbows. And of course, the big thing was they went away from the one night Grand Prix playoffs where they had 2 fights in one night for the playoffs. Now, after this interview on the PFL just had an interview with Jason Burgos and Sportsnaut, where Ray Seppo was talking, and he was saying that they're going to bring back the one night Grand Prix playoffs, which that's why it's no longer Puss FL. To me, that brings it back. That gives them their balls back and makes it PFL. Ray Seppo, here's the exact quote. He says, "In my opinion, I think eventually we will get back to the 2 fights in one night," Seppo says, "because that's one of the main concepts that separates us from everyone else." 100% fact. It's because of the tournament
you have to
format
understand
and how
that
it's done.
promoters say shit all the time.
Well, look,
I mean,
if he follows through with that and brings back the one night Grand Prix tournaments, the one night Grand Prix playoffs, that's going to be badass. That's going to allow more fighters into
JayWolf, don't take a promoter at their word, because wait until the action actually happens. Then that's when you can start like getting happy about it and excited and all that.
No, it is too late for that. It's too. I'm already happy.
Oh, it is? Okay.
I'm not calling it Puss FL anymore, even with no elbows. If this happens, it's the PFL. If it doesn't happen, and then I'll go back to Puss FL. Okay, how about that? But I think it's going to happen. I think Ray Seppo knows, because Ray Seppo was a K1 guy. Remember, he's been through the K1 tournaments. He knows the K1 8-man one night tournament is one of the most fun, badass things in combat sports. So he knows the value of the one night Grand Prix tournament format. So I believe it's going to happen, Drew. As a matter of fact, I'm going to write some letters. I'm going to write some emails to Don Davis, the PFL CEO. I'm going to write some letters to Seppo. I'm going to say, hey, you know what? Listen to Seppo and listen and bring the one night Grand Prix playoffs back. That'll make give you guys your balls back. You won't be Puss FL anymore. So, anyway.
JayWolf, okay. I really have nothing to say about Larkin or Koreshkov, but I guess with Watanabe and Ortega, here's the thing. So, I guess the one thing I would say is, if that was Rizin rules, would you say she probably would have won? Ortega would have won?
No, because Watanabe was the one that hit the takedowns. Takedowns count. That is what gave her the edge to beat Ortega.
But in Rizin rules, it's based on damage, and I think at least Ortega was delivering more on damage.
Well, I don't know. That's debatable. That's debatable, because Kana Watanabe was also striking, and she was striking on the ground when she got her down. They weren't, devastating like power punches, but she was still striking on the ground. She wasn't just laying on her. So that counts. That scores. So I think it was I know it was people are saying it was a hometown decision, but I think it was a totally fair home cooking decision, because, like I said, she scored the takedowns, and those count in mixed martial arts. So I don't think Ortega did enough damage to override the takedowns and the damage that Watanabe was doing as well. I think it was a totally fair decision. So, but I can see the argument, like you're saying, because Ortega was landing some fantastic strikes. Remember, I was talking trash going, dude, when is Kana going to start training some freaking head movement and boxing? She it's been a while, and this has been the 3rd fight in a row where she's gotten outstruck on the feet. She needs to start focusing on her striking. Maybe come into America, train in America or something, and train some striking and get shore up her striking, because she's got fantastic grappling. Her grappling is better than probably any other woman in that division. And her judo is next level. There's not a single woman that can match her judo prowess. Okay. She's got probably the best judo in the game, especially in Bellator or probably anywhere else. I mean, she's probably one of the best, if not the best, judo practitioners for the women fighters, especially in that division, 125 pounds. So,
well, Jay, regardless, the fight sucks. That's all I have to say.
Okay, yeah,
Even
so much
Kana
better
apologized. She apologized after she said, I'm sorry, I didn't fight good or whatever. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention.
Oh man, look, all of them was missing was a finish. So the one that really disappointed was Larkin and Koreshkov, because we thought it was going to be a striker's delight, because both fighters are strikers. Larkin coming off a KO of the Year candidate in LA. I was there cage side for that standing elbow where it made the opponent do the flare flop face plant. Sensational. So we were thinking it was going to be an absolute badass striker's delight. But Koreshkov, man, he came in there with a great game plan, man. And just like how he beat Lima, he just, when it's mixed martial arts, guys, there's grappling involved. So, and if Larkin was
here's the thing. And I think that I can point to why there seemingly is a lot of that type of, I feel like that happens. It happens to UFC. No, don't get me wrong. And it happens to Rizin, but it seems to happen a lot in Bellator. And my theory is Bellator, I don't think gives, as far as I know, I have never been told that Bellator gives finishing bonuses. Now I know for obviously UFC does. Rizin, I know gives finishing bonuses, because if you ever watch the Rizin Confessions, you always a lot of fighters make reference, to the finishing bonus.
Nice.
I know. So I don't think Bellator gives any. So what is the incentive for someone to finish if there's no finishing bonus other than, highlight reel, whatever? This doesn't mean that all fighters are not going to go for a finish, but probably some won't if there's no finishing bonus.
Well, we don't know for sure if there's no finishing bonus or not, because
I've never been told there's not a finishing. I've never been told that there's not a finishing bonus.
Yeah, so we don't know
that there is a finishing bonus.
Well,
sorry.
Well, we don't know for sure if there is one or not, but if there's not, also another factor is, Drew, Bellator, Scotty Cokes and them, they don't shy away from signing wrestlers like Phil Davis, Corey Anderson. All these blue chippers that they're getting from USA Wrestling, like who's that one that's going to be? There's going to be one that's debuting this week in I forget where it is. I don't want to bring it up right now to find out who it is. Anyways, it was some guy from the NCAA Wrestling. You know what I mean? So they sign these guys, and Scotty Cokes has no fear of signing these blue chippers and these grappling heavy fighters. So that could also be a factor as well. Because I mean, but it would help to have a finishing bonus for sure. To answer your question, yes, that would help. I don't think it's like the end all be all factor for like since if there's no finishing bonus, I don't think a guy's gonna go in there and just be like, oh well, I'm purposely not gonna finish. I'm just gonna freaking wall install and lay and pray this whole fight because there's no finishing bonus. I don't think that's happening because if you don't put on an exciting performance, they're not going to want to book you for the main cards and stuff. You know what I mean?
Bellator does though. That's the thing. Bellator does. If you do that, I mean, that's what John Fitch did in that entire tournament.
John Fitch has a huge name. I'm talking about the other guys that
he doesn't have a huge name for a good reason among MMA fans.
Okay, well, still, he was a name, but we're talking about for the other guys, the blue chippers and stuff. If they don't put on exciting performances and just wall install and lay and pray, they don't get off the prelims. They stay on the prelims. So, I mean, and I'd like confirmation that they don't give out finish bonuses and stuff, especially when they're sensational. Like, I mean, watch talk to Larkin. Well, you know what? Because he was on the prelims when he did that KO of the Year candidate earlier in LA. So maybe it has to be on the main card. I don't know. But still,
I will double check. I know I'm gonna double check on the finishing bonus things, but
it would, Drew. It would affect it. Say if there's a fight it's a grueling fight, and the fighters go, you know what? I'm just gonna fight to win this bout right here. I'm not gonna fight for the finish because there's no bonus. So I could see that definitely affecting it. Like if they're in the middle of a badass fight, and they just go, okay, well, I'm just going to do what it takes to win this bout right now instead of, going the extra mile to finish it. You know what I mean? I could definitely see that being a factor if there's no finish.
Okay, JayWolf, I want to ask Chris.
Go
Chris, the thing is, this could have been a great show for Bellator. I don't think it was, and I think it left a big sour taste in many people's mouths who watched it. What do you think that Bellator's got to do that's just to just get out of this seemingly black hole of unexcitedness with such shows and just, I don't even know, not even go the extra mile I hate this whole idea that they have to try to like be on the level of UFC. That's obviously not going to happen. But what can they do to just like to not let something like this happen again with one of their shows?
To be honest, I think they got to book more exciting fights. And y'all hit the nail right on the head when it comes down to it, because I mean, I think, but let's just face it. We all know Bellator versus Rizin 2 was going to go down as a dud for the simple fact of the no contest, and obviously for the simple fact of, 3 of the other 4 fights ended in decision. Well, 2 ended in earth-shattering submissions. And, well, what am I trying to say? You had a submission, a knockout, and 2 boring fights that could have went either way. But still, though, they need to have more exciting fights in total. And especially when it comes down to the fact that this wasn't promoted well, and a lot of people are going to be, or really are still upset that Bellator doesn't know how to do good promotion, even though they're on Paramount Plus, they're on Showtime, they're on all these different platforms than they should be. It just sucks that they're not getting promoted more, especially considering that they're supposed to be the number 2 promotion in this country. Wouldn't you agree?
They're number 2 by default. They're not that number 2 status is not earned. It's not like Apple and Microsoft.
That's not the entire. Their roster is number 2 clearly. Come on.
I'm talking from a financial and business perspective. I am not going by roster.
Oh, well, we already know who's number 2 financially. We know that. Remember, John Nash from Bloody Elbow tweeted about it just 7 months ago now.
No. You're talking about Rizin. You're talking about Rizin. I'm talking about Bellator.
Yes, but no, you're saying who is number 2 and financially? That's Rizin, because Rizin is pay-per-view viable.
Well, I'm saying that
Bellator stadiums.
I'm saying that Bellator is not number 2 in America because
they are because of their roster. Their roster strength makes them number 2.
But the thing is, JayWolf, they're not number 2 because they don't know how to promote shit well.
Well, I mean, I think it's debatable that they're not number 2 because their roster, I believe, makes them number 2 by default. Who else has a better roster than them? Nobody. Not PFL, not one. Nobody else has a better roster than Bellator right now, besides UFC, obviously.
But they're number 2 by default. They're number 2 by default. I'm not going by roster because that is subjective. And I think Bellator has a great roster. I really do. I think that they have I think it's subjective.
Their roster strength is not subjective. Their roster strength is I mean, it's even the UFC media is acknowledging it now. So
yeah, I know, but I'm not. I'm saying it's subjective in terms of what you define as a high level roster, and that doesn't mean that the people on. Listen, I'm a big AJ McKee fan. I'm a big Horiguchi fan, but I'm saying from a financial and business perspective that they are not number 2. That number 2 is not earned. It's simply because UFC is number 1, and the closest, even it's not even number 2 is not even a competitor to them when it comes to competing with them, when it comes to ratings, ticket sales, all that stuff.
Well, I don't even know. Drew, it's debatable. Look at their most recent Bellator CBS event in LA. Okay, the ratings for that scored over 1 million average. It was only 0.2 less than UFC on ABC. The other, when the UFC was on broadcast television. Okay, and that was with Bellator doing 0 promotion for that event. They didn't even list it on their CBS Saturday Sports lineup that they aired during.
But JayWolf, that in the end is again, that's still bad. That's still bad that they didn't do that. That means they don't care. That's even worse than if they at least, if they had promoted it and it at least show that they cared, but clearly they don't. What I'm saying, and also here's the other thing as well. The only reason why it's even on Showtime Paramount, and this is my theory, is because during it got on there because pandemic era, these media things needed content, and so Bellator happened to be live sports that could operate without any sort of extreme restrictions. So that's why they needed something on there. I guarantee it would still be on. What was it on ESPN? What? It was on something. What was the weird thing it was on?
What was?
Before it was on Paramount. It was on this.
It was on ESPN Deportes, and I think
Bjorn
ESPN News.
That was Bjorn Rebney's Bellator.
No. So it was on the Zone. Then it got, was it NBC something? It was NBC something, right?
NBC? No. Remember on Spike TV before Spike rebranded to Paramount?
No. But then it went on a streaming thing. It went on a streaming thing.
Epix.
It was was it Epix?
No, I thought it's always been Showtime.
No. If you look at the broadcast history the Bellator had, they were on ESPN Deportes in Spanish, and I think on their own website in English, Bellator.com, by the way. Then they were on the regional sports networks, which unfortunately are a dying breed these days. Mm-hmm. Then they went to MTV2 and Epix.
That's right. MTV2. That was the one I was trying to think of.
Okay. Yes. They went to MTV2, Epix, Showtime. Well, actually, MTV2, Epix, Paramount Network, and Showtime.
Yeah. Okay. Falling Star has a great comment, and this basically sums it up. Rizin has mastered branding power. Rizin mastering branding powers is slowly come together, something Bellator failed so spectacularly. And he is absolutely right. Bellator never really has able to brand themselves as something. It's always been, they don't have that hook that I think Rizin has. Rizin got behind a lot of fighters. Their fighters became popular. Mikuru, Kai, and a bunch of others. Bellator did not ever really do that with any of their fighters, I think, to the extent that Rizin did. So, yeah, it's I think that's the big failing of Bellator, is that it never seemed that I wouldn't even say it was on autopilot. It seemed to be, I don't know. It's just so, it's like I
don't know, bro. I'm telling, look, we'll see this
I'm not a Bellator hater. Here's the thing. I actually watch Bellator sometimes. Bro. Sorry?
They have a show come out this week, and we're going to see, I mean, this one doesn't have any title fights on it or nothing, so I don't think it's going to be one that's the Dingleberry Dana White curse is going to happen to. I think it's going to go off without a hitch. It's going to be as up and down the whole card. I'm talking about the main card to the prelims, loaded with top 10 fighters, men and women, across the entire card. Okay. And also another thing about Bellator, their international shows. Their international shows are arguably better than what the UFC is giving their international fans.
I always said that Bellator should be a European promotion. I think that would operate. I think that would be a much more, I don't know, lucrative. That'd be more of a selling point for it. Is that they're, because UK used to have Bama, which was arguably a great promotion. So much talent came from there, but there's nothing in the UK. France is still
Cage Warriors.
Oh, Cage Warriors. Yeah. And that was well. Yeah, they should operate solely in Europe, I think, and maybe with the occasional Hawaii show, possibly. And then you could still have had the thing with Rizin, but yeah, this promotion is just I think is just a black hole. It's been a black hole for a while. They didn't capitalize. They did not capitalize on AJ McKee's win over Pitbull, whichever one it was, whichever one of the brothers it was. I can't remember which one.
It was Patricio Pitbull, pound for pound Pitbull, the one that Chihiro Suzuki became the first man to knock out at Rizin. Okay. That's the Pitbull, and they're 1-1 together. Remember the AJ McKee got him, choked him out, and then Patricio Pitbull went back and decisioned him fair and square to get that win back. So
yeah, Yeah. So, yeah, they didn't capitalize on AJ McKee. It
What do you
basically
mean? Yes,
kind of,
they did. He was supposed to be on this event. He was going to be the freaking main event. He just got staph infection.
yes.
That's bad luck. That's not anything that Bellator, the brand, or anything is doing. That's just having bad luck happening to them. Okay,
Why is all this bad luck always happen to Bellator, J
I
Wolf?
told you guys 100 times. Dingleberry Dana sold his soul for the UFC to be number one while he's there. Anytime a competitor gets even close, like Strike Force, you know what I think Dana sold his soul was right when Pride got sabotaged and fell. That's when I think Dingleberry Dana was probably like, okay, Pride is beating our asses. I got to do something drastic here to make UFC number one, or I'm going to be out of a job here pretty soon. So that's when I think that's when it started. That's why when Strike Force got close, that's when all of a sudden they sold out of nowhere. Now Bellator is getting close. The UFC media is saying all their champions could compete. We're getting awesome collaboration bouts with the Epic Rizin to where these are such massive events. The New Year's Eve collaboration mega event was a Pride Bushido level event. This summer blockbuster mega event that was supposed to happen was so snaked with injuries because of that Dingleberry Dana White curse. That was on paper before all the injuries. That was a Pride Bushido level event as well. And even after all the injuries, with Chihiro Suzuki and Pound Pitbull on there, was a Pride Bushido level event. And we're not even done with the year yet. I'm telling you, Drew, you know what happened with the Bellator brand when it all started, the brand that you're talking about, is when they took away the Gladiator logo. Remember how they had the Gladiator logo on the mat for Bjorn Rebney? And the Bellator logo had the gladiator head on top, and it said it was a gladiator head Bellator Fighting Championships underneath.
Okay.
Remember that?
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
I think that hurt the brand because now you guys can talk shit that it's a fish and all
Hold
this
on.
other crap.
Hold on, JayWolf. Chris, why do you think Bellator has so much bad luck compared to any other promotion? It seems like.
I mean, maybe it's because of the fact that they were just. I mean, I wouldn't say they were given scraps or anything like that. I'm just basically saying that they probably had the worst of luck because there was once a time where the UFC would do counter programming just to make sure that they would have the biggest ratings of any MMA promotion of the night, or in the case of them putting on a show during a UFC, in the case of the UFC putting on a show, when Bellator was having a show at the same time, they would make sure that they would have no ratings. Y'all remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I just think that when it comes down to the whole Bellator bad luck thing, I think it's self-inflicted based off of what happened with that Kimbo versus Donna 5000 thing. I mean, everybody gave that shit a little crack, but still, though, when it came down to it, I just think it's more self-inflicted than anything else. Now, considering that we're done talking about the BellatorxRizin thing, can we just go
hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, Chris. We didn't really talk about. It's the only fight that I really care about. And JayWolf, do you want to talk about Patricky and Satoshi?
Yeah, a valiant effort by Satoshi coming on days' notice. But I mean, what can you do against a full camp Pitbull brother? I mean, there's Patricky Pitbull, former champion. Pitbull, a brother to pound for pound, Patricio Pitbull, excellent camp, excellent trainers, everything. He had a full camp. I mean, there's not much. I mean, Satoshi came in there and was game. Okay, even throwing flying knees and everything. It just was too much. He coming in there on 4 days' notice to save the card, keep a tricky on there, keep the main event on there. Just basically saving and the lightweight Grand Prix. Saving that as well. I mean, stepping on a short notice to save that. It was just a totally valiant effort by him. And then Patricio just did what he was supposed to do, looked like a guy in there that was in a full camp against a guy coming in on short 4 days notice. That's all it was. So, I mean, here's
the other thing as well. So apparently Satoshi said he broke his hands, I think, in the first round. So,
oh no.
I mean, obviously that's going to breaking your hand is going to have an effect on a guy who does jujitsu, who likes to do grappling. So that's obviously not going to help, but, I mean, so what is this now? do for Satoshi in your eyes, where he's now 0-2 against Bellator guys? And he should have. Well, here's the thing. Well, first of all, he should have been the alternate from the beginning.
Right.
And I don't know why there was no alter in the beginning, but
yeah, I know, right? Exactly.
I mean, you come to think of it, it's a Bellator thing, right? They always don't have alternates for their tournaments.
In fairness, Rizin doesn't anymore. I don't know why. I don't know why these tournaments don't do alternates.
They will. They know they got to have an alternate. And these events where they've been not having alternates, they should learn from that about how it's bit them in the ass and where they needed alternates when they didn't have one. So that should show them, hey, we need to go back to having alternates like it's supposed to be. Grand Prix are supposed to have alternates every single time. So,
well, I mean, because here's the thing. So, yeah, while it's great that Satoshi took it, possibly he could have said no, and he would have been totally within the right to have said no. I'm not taking Patricky on, what is it, less than
4
a week's
days notice.
Yeah, how many days notice was it?
It was 3 or 4 days notice. I think it was
exactly
4 days. Yeah. I think it was the 4th day. So really, it was 3.5 days notice.
If he had said no, he would be totally within the right, and there'd be no shade upon him.
Exactly.
It's entirely possible. The worst. What they could have done. What could have happened would have been that if they couldn't find anybody, they would just have to give Patricky a bye, and it would have been a 4-card main event.
That would have been terrible. Then that just goes to show you why that you need alternates. Every Grand Prix, you got to have alternates, no matter what, and especially when you're doing one night grand. And I guarantee you, the PFL is going to have it. If they bring back the one night GP playoffs, they're going to have.
Also, here's the thing about PFL, even on their playoff whatever cards, they still have people on the undercards that are in the same weight class. So you can, and UFC does the same thing as well. You can easily just sub in somebody last minute if need be. They also have the playoff, or was it the contender series or whatever they do thing, where you
challenger
series where they can kind of come on, and then they've used those guys as well to come in the tournament. So, but yeah, this is what you run the risk. Luckily, luckily Satoshi said yes. And if he didn't, but now he has a broken hand. I don't know the extent of it, of his leg. I mean, that leg kick that Patricky did to Satoshi, like, that looked like it hurt. I don't know. Now you have your Rizin champion who's going to be out of it for I don't know when the next time the title is going to be defended, potentially, or when Satoshi's going to fight.
They need to sort out that division as well in Rizin. I mean, we're trying to find a number one contender right now with Luis Killer Gustavo and a couple others like Yuri Ohara and some other ones. So they got to sort that division out as well. So I mean, but that was needless that happened to Satoshi, because I don't know if you remember, but they should have stopped it before it even got that far. They basically exchanged flying knees, and Patricky's landed to better than Satoshi's did, where it knocked Satoshi down, and it could have been a TKO finish right there if the ref was more. But the ref was.
That was also near the end of the round. So right. I think he was saved by the bell.
That's exactly what it was. That's exactly why the ref didn't stop it, because it was towards the end of the round. But I think if he should have, it would have saved Satoshi some damage on his leg and stuff. And that's terrible news about his hand. Hopefully it's not a break. Hopefully it's just a fracture, because those can heal up much faster than a break. So hopefully that's what it is. He can be back in action by, like, say, New Year's. Mm-hmm. So, but
I know, Chris, you want to go on to another subject. I don't know if it's this subject, but I just wanted to quickly talk about, I think the most interesting fight on the Bellator portion was not in the ring, but apparently in the back, when apparently Patricio
I was hoping that we would have avoided this, but
which fall was this? That fall with Kleber? I forgot. One of them.
You're exactly what you're talking about, Drew.
It was the Patricio and Patricky Pitbull incident with Kleber Koike after Patricky knocked out Roberto Satoshi de Souza.
No, that's not what it was. After Chihiro knocked out Patricio.
Oh,
Cleaver was
right.
celebrating. Patricio's brother, Patrici, took exception of that. Went over to Kleber, pushed him. We only know this from fan cell phone footage that was at the event. Showed Patrici pushing Kleber. Kleber fell back into the railing, into the seat and everything. Then later, he reported that to the brass for Bellator and Rizin, and they didn't really do anything. Kind of just brushed it off, and so he took matters own hand, went to the back, then did like a running jump kick to Patrici's back and started a backroom brawl with them, straight out of Almighty Pride FC. Where remember Wanderlei Silva and Crazy Horse and all them got into it and stuff like that. Very reminiscent of that. So that's
but
happened.
The only thing was there wasn't no Cristiano Marcelo to stop the violence.
Yeah.
But I get what you mean. And also, shout out to Bruno Masami for getting the news out there. Shout out to Go Yamamoto, a.k.a. Shirobi, for getting the news out there. I mean, basically, it just shows that, there's going to be some bad blood between the Pitbull brothers and Bonsai Jiu-Jitsu camp. It's going to be similar to what happened back in the day with the old Shooter Box Academy and the Brazilian top team. Y'all remember that from Pride?
Oh yeah.
Fantastic
Shoot boxing and the good old that was the good old days. Shoot boxing or what was the big it was one of the Gracies, right? Didn't one of the Gracies wasn't there also one involving him?
I think you're referring to the Yoji Anjo Gracie thing.
No. Which it was Frank Shamrock. Wasn't Frank Shamrock involved in something like that as well? My brain is telling me Frank Shamrock was involved in some scuffle.
I don't really know.
Okay, whatever.
I can't remember either.
But right now, the best feud in all of combat sports is Bonsai versus Pitbull Brothers Academy. You know what Rizin should do? Rizin and Shingo, if you ever listen, I hope you're listening to this. I don't know if you're here, but I hope you should do this. Do a landmark card or something, or whatever for you. New Year's Eve, have 5 fights from like Pitbull and Bonsai. Just have a Pitbull versus Bonsai, a bunch of like 5 matches, 3 or 4 or 5 matches. I think
a gym versus gym event. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. It's actually, if you don't mind me asking as well, JayWolf. So now that Kleber has ignited a storm among the Pitbull brothers, he's already lost to one, Patricio. Do you think that's still worthy of a potential rematch as well?
Absolutely. Not a rematch with Patricio. I'm talking a match with his brother Patrici from all this heat that's happening. Because Patrici is a lightweight. Kleber is a featherweight. Kleber could easily put on some weight and challenge Patrici in the ring. Patrici is a good fighter, but he's declining. That could be Kleber could actually beat him in the ring. That could be a fantastic crossover collaboration super fight in the future.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I mean, come to think of it, you're saying Shingo Kashiwagi should be listening to this. I think that Hafid Barki should be listening to this as well, because maybe they could maybe one or both of them should get to Nobuhiko Takada, get to Nobuyuki Sakaki Bar, get to the Rizin committee, the Rizin booking committee, and see if they can make this shit happen.
Yeah, no, it'll be fun. I mean, I would only do Kleber and Patricio because they fought before, and
Kleber and Patrici. And
Patrici? I thought it was Patricio.
No. They fought Patricio at New Year's Eve collaboration mega event. Remember? I'm talking.
Well, no, that's what's
right
yeah,
now.
no, because he's a featherweight. Patricio's a featherweight right now. So
yes.
So that's why no. Well, I mean, presumably Kleber,
his brother.
Yeah, Kleber. But presumably, if Kleber can make 145 again, we'll have to wait and see. Considering he did miss weight second time.
That's right. Thank you. That's what I was trying to build to, Drew. Thank you for bringing that up. That's exactly what Kleber missed weight. That's why he's not the champion right now. And he has problems. If he has problems making 145, maybe it's the time to jump up to 155. And the perfect fight was just dropped into their lap at this event right here. Patrici Pitbull versus Kleber Koike for the lightweight #1 contenders match or something like that. And you know, let's see what happens with the potential PFL buyout of Bellator, because they're going to be a lot. They're not going to get every single fighter on Bellator's roster if they buy them out. They're going to get probably the best ones. There's going to be some leftovers that maybe will be able to come over.
Nah, there's going to be a lot of people left off looking to find new homes.
Well, hey, then bring them all the good ones. Bring them over, especially in the lighter weight divisions, from lightweight on down, and bring them all over the BellatorxRizin. I want to see them all in a superior rule set. The Pitbull brothers will be fun. I mean, everybody. Anybody that's available, bring them over to the BellatorxRizin and let's have some fun.
Here's the thing, JayWolf. Let's just say if the PFL does buy out Bellator and absorb everything, kill off the Bellator branding after 15 years and all that.
That's what they're going to do. That's, according to Todd Atkins, that will happen in the first or second quarter of next year. That they'll be completely dissolved. Scotty Cooks and all of them are going to go, right off into the sunset. And they're what the PFL is going to do. They're going to have the best fighters going to be probably for their new pay-per-view division, and all the other guys are going to bring in and fill out the seasonal format in every division.
Understood, but still, though, the point I'm trying to ask is, with those fighters that get cut in the overflow or get cut, period, because they weren't good enough. If they do go to Rizin, won't that cause the same type of problems over there, especially considering that aside from us trying to put over when people can see a Rizin event, it ain't really doing too much good promotion over here.
No, I don't think so, Jay Krish. The main factor, why? I'll tell you exactly why. Because the superior rule set. The superior rule, any fighter they get from that's left over from the PFL buyout of Bellator, if that happens, any fighter they're going to get is going to be unleashed on the superior rule set. That's going to make it exciting. It's going to make it awesome, and it's going to be badass either way. So I do not see that being a problem. And you're talking about they're promoting it internationally. Well, they are. I'm telling you, I know they're mostly focused on the Japanese market, but just the fact that, like what we were talking about earlier, I don't know, you came in after that discussion, Jay Krish. We were talking about the ABC conference that just happened here. It was in Nevada.
Yeah, I think I heard.
Okay, Shingo was there. Mm-hmm. The Rizin representative was there. I know this market is still secondary to them, and Japan is their main focus, but it's coming, Jay Krish. It's coming. It's got to be a little bit patient. It'll happen slowly but surely, but it's going to happen.
JayWolf, sorry, I got to interrupt. Jay Chris, what did you want to talk about? I apologize for interrupting you. What was it that you wanted to bring up?
I mean, basically, what I wanted to talk about was the, Super Rizin 2 card, the rest of the card. But, before we do, I mean, the flying cage thing. I know that's basically kind of moot at this point, but still, though, when it comes down to more of these crossover events, I mean, what am I trying to ask? Do you think that they should do something, that Rizin should do something one of these days where they have a trigger card and a numbered event in the ring on like the same day, kind of like a day-night doubleheader? Do you think that they should do something like that as a way to have their own version of the flying cage?
What do you mean, like two events in the same day, like a landmark event and then a numbered event?
Yeah.
So will they each have 10 bouts each or so, you think? I think that'd be awesome.
No, more like 7.
Okay, see, that's where I'm starting to have a problem, because we're getting less fights now. I'd rather have individual ones with 15 bouts on each event instead of two.
But
that's 30 fights. That's 30 fights.
I'm saying I'd rather have the individual events, a landmark, and then on a different day, the numbered event.
Here's the thing, though. Each. What I'm trying to say, JayWolf, is let's just say they end up doing a trigger show and a numbered show, or a show in the ring at the same time. You can have 7 fights in the cage. You can have 7 fights in the ring. You can have one just basically off of moat fighting rules or Ganryujima rules.
That'd be actually badass. Lift up the ring lift up the cage completely, and don't even put the ring down. Just have a mat and do the moat fighting rules. That'd be awesome. But I really don't think
either moat
that.
fighting or a BJJ or combat BJJ exhibition.
Yeah, I don't see them doing that. I think that they would just do the individual events, and the only time they would do the reason they did it this time is because Bellator, what was their fights were in the cage on unified rules, all that, the pussified rules, all that stuff. So that's why
I did think the way it looked was actually pretty cool, because you know how the cage has to be that weird whatever circular thing, and then it was literally a squared circle.
Yeah. That was cool.
Because it's so fun when they say square circle, and it's clearly a square. Like the ring is a square. It's not
right.
I mean, people circle. I think because people circle around it, they go like, "Oh, that's a square circle." No, it's not. It's the shape of the ring.
Basically, round peg, square hole.
Yeah, and that's why it was. I thought it looked cool, especially when they would do the camera from ahead.
It did. No, it did. You're right. And
also, safety wise, it's there. It was there as well because somebody almost fell out of the ring. I forgot which match, but
you're talking about the Super Rizin one. That was one of the. I think it was Ito and Kondo, right?
Yes, and that basically prevented them from because normally the
Drew. It was Ota and Takizawa. Remember, Ota finished him out as Takizawa was going outside of the ring. Remember, on the TKO finish, right?
Yeah,
that was the one.
Yeah, so I think that's the ideal design, is to have the canvas be that shape and do the ring. I think that's a lot more. I think that's safety wise, that's better, because you don't have to have the referees really having to run all the way over there. Who was also what was it? Remember when Jiri took on Brandon? Oh, what's his name? I forgot the fighter's name.
Brandon Halsey.
Yeah, Brandon Halsey, and Brandon Halsey got not what was it? He got thrown out of the ring somehow.
I think you remember. You remember talking about it when it happened. It was probably one of the worst things you saw, right?
Yeah, I still don't know if he did that on purpose or whatever, but let's assume that for the sake of argument, it's real. That will prevent a lot more of that. A lot of that happening. Yeah, it was a very cool design. Just to let you know as well, we're not going to go into a big deep discussion of Super Rizin 2 because it looks like we'll have CJ on to talk about that. But Jay, since you won't be able to make that, since it'll be very, very early in the morning, I want to give you an opportunity to talk about Super Rizin 2 and just tell us what you liked about it. I'm assuming you didn't hate anything about it, but you're free to talk about Super Rizin 2.
No, I love that. Well, I'd like to know when is the CJ show happening?
Is that well, still deciding, it's double checking the time. But it's gonna probably be early in the morning. So I'll double.
I just want to make sure I tune into that one as well. I love talking to CJ as well and hearing what he has to say. And he, we were talking about last night in the Epic Rizin Discord, which everybody should be join up with us. It's a lot of fun in there. And we were talking last night, and CJ was talking about how he was.
Sorry, JayWolf, I gotta interrupt you. You have about 10 minutes to just talk about Super Rizin 2, and then I'm gonna talk about the giveaway. Then I gotta bolt out of here.
Oh, okay, sure. No, on the Super Rizin 2 event was a lot of fun. It didn't have as much superior rule set action this time. I think there's only a couple of grounded knees, and there wasn't any soccer kicks or anything that we love the most. But still, there was some grounded knees, but. The big thing that happened on Super Rizin 2 was I think it's the upset of this new era. It was the biggest upset that's happened in modern mixed martial. I mean, Chihiro Suzuki, 24 years old, kickboxing crossover, Rizin title challenger, taking on Patricio pound for pound Pitbull, Bellator long reign pound for pound champion. He's currently number 2 pound for pound ranked fighter in Bellator. The guy, you can't say enough good things about Patricio pound for pound Pitbull. And Chihiro Suzuki knocked him out in sensational fashion. The first ever fighter to do that. and it was such a fantastic knockout. Patricio's head bounced off the rope on each rope on the way down, making it just absolutely hilarious. Just a sensational knockout of the year candidate, all that. And it was such a huge upset. And look, in the Rizin Discord, there's some great fans like Just Bleed fan, JBF, who was saying that I was being too harsh on Teep's show to the UFC media because I felt they didn't cover it enough. And I still don't, I mean, there was some articles and they did talk about it like for 5 minutes on talk shows or whatever, but I just don't think that's enough for an upset of this magnitude. The Chihiro Suzuki knocking out Patricio Pound for Pound Pitbull, that's an all-time great upset right there. It was absolutely, to me, it was the moment of the weekend, and just, and it was huge. It was just such a huge upset. I mean, Chihiro has secured himself another bag. They're already talking about the rematch. Drew, you heard me talking
Oh, sorry, JayWolf, and so I did listen to your show with Teep, in Santiago, from Bellator Zone. You are on the camp that Chihiro should face Patricio next. Santiago believes Jeremy Kennedy should be next, I think.
Yes.
He was not a fan of the fight. Listen, that's his opinion. I was for the fight because I love when shit like that happens randomly in JMMA. Because that would never happen. That would never happen in American MMA at all. Just a fight of that caliber being announced the week of. Anyway, so I'm actually for the few times I'm agreeing with you. I do listen. I have no interest in seeing Jeremy Kennedy take on Patricio. That's not because I don't think Jeremy Kennedy is a good fighter. It's just because I think it'll be a boring fight. You now have a more interesting fight with Chihiro. Jay Chris, I don't know. What do you think about that? Should Chihiro fight for Patricio's belt next, instead of potentially Jeremy Kennedy?
Considering the fact that people outside of Japan don't know who Chihiro Suzuki is, and will probably write him off as, this guy's a bust, a bum, and all this shit. I mean, I don't think that Chihiro should fight, Patricio. But I do think that he should get another shot at the Rizin featherweight title. You know what I mean?
Interesting. So what about that, JayWolf? Is in lieu of the Bellator championship, maybe he could potentially face Vugar in Azerbaijan, in Baku.
I mean, come to think of it, let's just say this. If Vugar and Kleber does happen in November in Azerbaijan, obviously New Year's Eve ain't that far off. And let's just say Vugar gets no damage against Kleber. That would be a hell of a fight to book for New Year's Eve between Vugar and Chihiro.
Also, don't forget, if maybe Kleber doesn't get any damage against Vugar, it's entirely possible. That
could be a rematch. I think I get what you're going here.
But I would be, if he doesn't make weight, then obviously never again featherweight again.
Yeah,
I mean
that's
Well, either that or you can push his ass up to 170.
Well, I don't know if he wants to go that high. I think
155 lightweight.
Yeah, but hey, has it been announced that Vugar is facing Kleber for the title in Azerbaijan?
Nope. Nothing's been announced yet.
Okay, that's just a rumor.
You know what?
Okay.
About that show, about that event, considering the fact that Tofik won his fight in impressive fashion, and Vugar obviously beat up Mikuru Asakura to become the new Rizin featherweight champion, I do think that, as I mentioned, that not only should, obviously, as I mentioned, Vugar should be on that show in November representing Team Azerbaijan, but also most definitely Tofik should be on that card as well. It wouldn't be a Rizin show in Azerbaijan without Tofik.
Sorry, we're running out of time, guys. Jay, besides that, anything else you want to say about Super Rizin 2?
No, just look. Sika Izawa is fantastic champion, amazing female fighter, and look. How funny is it that she was nominated on the quote unquote World MMA Awards as the best female fighter this year? Yet for when it's the best event, a promotion or whatever, they leave off the Epic Rizin and put on these other people. Like, dude, how ridiculous, the quote unquote World MMA Awards. Anyways, Sika Izawa, fantastic, amazing performance against the Combate Global star. It was a crossover collaboration super fight for the title. She choked out with the ninja choke, Claire Lopez from Combate Global, and it wasn't even her fault because when she released it, Claire Lopez fell back. It was very reminiscent of John Jones and Machida. Remember when John Jones choked out Machida and just dropped his lifeless body to the ground? One of the great highlights of all time. Sika Izawa had her own moment like that with Claire Lopez. Sensational finish, choked her out completely. And when she released her, Claire Lopez fell back. Very reminiscent of Jones Machida. So it was a sensational highlight for her. Also, Juan Archuleta, amazing. I know he took it easy on Hiramasa because Hiramasa stepped up late notice, but still fantastic to have Juan Archuleta, number 3 Bellator bantamweight, only man to beat Patchy Mix. He is now the current Rizin champion. Okay, I'm so happy about that. Because I'm hoping that they're going to build into Juan, and then if Mix can beat Pettis when they unify for the Bellator title, then we can have a cross promotion collaboration title fight, super fight. So that'd be a lot of fun, I think. And then also Vugar Karamov winning the title. Now he's going to be headlining the Azerbaijan Rizin, and he finished Mikuru. So I mean him, and also Jay Chris was talking about Tofik was also on this card. Absolutely sensational knockout as well. I mean, so Vugar and Tofik are going to headline and co-headline the Rizin Azerbaijan
Sorry,
event.
JayWolf. Unfortunately, I'm under the gun now, but unfortunately,
this is a fantastic show. The Chihiro Suzuki, Patricio Pound Pitbull, knockout of the year candidate, upset of the freaking decade, new era candidate. So here, let me get Jay Chris's the Lenny Hart soundbite, Jay Chris.
No, we're not done. We're not done. We still gotta do. I gotta talk about the Rizin giveaway before we head out of here.
I mean, come to think of it, do you want me to give my thoughts about Super Rizin real quick before you get to the giveaway?
We'll do that tomorrow with CJ. We're gonna do that tomorrow with CJ, Chris.
Well, actually, I'm gonna be doing that tonight on the Focus Fights audio call. If anybody wants to be a part of it, all you have to do is join the Discord, because I couldn't post it in the YouTube chat for some god-awful reason. So, join the Rizin FL Fans Discord if you want to be interested in being a part of the Zoom call to hear our thoughts, to hear the Focus Fights audio version of our thoughts about Super Rizin 2. But yeah, Andrew, I'm not going to waste your time on that. Get to the damn giveaway.
Okay, so I was in Japan. As people know, I bought a whole bunch of Rizin merchandise. I'm going to be giving away one by one. So first off, I'm starting off with is it appearing on camera? I can't see if it appears on camera.
It's bleeding in and out.
Hold on, let me fix the thing.
Here, put it in front of your chest, like hold up in front of your chest, like this.
How's that look?
There you go. Perfect. Now you can see it exactly right there. Perfect.
It's a extra large Rizin black Rizin Fighting Federation shirt. Now this is extra large Japanese size, so I know that won't fit a lot of you. I'm talking about you, JayWolf. So I don't know what you could hang it up on your wall or something. But these giveaways, I don't discriminate based on location. It's open up to everywhere in the world. As long as it's planet Earth. So if you're in Antarctica and a Rizin fan, it's open to you. If you're in Japan, I don't know why you enter a Rizin giveaway here. You can do it here as well. There's people in Europe who watch us. You can enter it as well. I will cover the entire shipping charge. So hopefully, please, hopefully be from the United States, preferably. Just kidding. No.
What's the contest?
Now,
how
what if somebody? Yeah. What if somebody like me would want to join in that giveaway?
Well, Chris, it's very easy to join this giveaway. It's open to everybody, obviously besides me. I will do a random drawing. I'll do it. Let's do it for the Discord. We'll do it for the Discord. Can you do video through Discord?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, a video call through Discord. I'm gonna just all the people who enter. Now, this is how you got to enter. You gotta just follow at We Are Rizin Pod on Twitter. Message me, DM me your favorite Rizin fights from this year so far, and then you are entered in. Now, you gotta make sure you got and you gotta be subscribed to YouTube as well. So just let me either like screenshot that you're sub to the YouTube channel, and I'll obviously know if you're following the Rizin Twitter. We Are Rizin Pod Twitter, and then DM me your favorite, or message me or email me, whatever way works best for you, your favorite Rizin fight, and then yeah, you're entered in. And I'm gonna write all the names down. I'm gonna rip them up. I'm gonna just do like put them in a hat and pick one, and then whoever's the winner, I'll DM them. I did a giveaway way back when. I don't remember when, but that the winner got their thing. So feel free to enter. Exactly. So just recap. Follow if you are following. If you're not followed to We Are Rizin Twitter, follow. If you're not subscribed to YouTube, subscribe. Then DM me, email me, or if you join the Discord, just DM me your favorite fights from Rizin 2023, and you're entered in. And I'll write your name down, and I'll pick the winner from there.
Nice.
Also,
how many shirts do you have to give away?
Don't they got to be over the age of 18?
I don't care. No, I don't think so. No. Anyway,
okay, just checking.
How many shirts do you have to give away, Drew?
I have one more to give away. So if you don't win this one, you have an opportunity to win one more and other extra large shirts. I'm sorry, guys, but we have to start. I have to cut this off early. I'm gonna do
I'm doing Lenny Hart's outro right here for you.
And with that
come through or what?
Yeah, it came through pretty well. But with that, we got to say, well, Andrew has to say goodbye. I will be on later on the Focus Fights audio portion of this podcast, which is going to be on a live Zoom call, so it won't be streamable to YouTube. All y'all have to do is join the Rizin FF Fans Discord if you want to be a part of it, just like with Andrew's giveaway.
That's in 40 minutes at 7 Eastern, right? Or no?
Yeah, an hour and 40 minutes.
Excuse me.
But
sorry.
still,
hour
though,
and 40 minutes.
Point of the matter is, Andrew, I know you got to go. Follow We Are Rizin on Twitter. And,